And it's just great to be here in Iowa. I do bring you greetings from your neighbor to the north, the state of Minnesota, where in the words of our unofficial poet laureate, Garrison Keillor, the women are strong, right? The men are good looking, and you can ask Al Franken this, all the recounts are above average. Now, I am well aware that you have a lot of famous people that come to Iowa. Like maybe I've heard at other Democratic gatherings, you've had people like Barack Obama speak, or Bill Clinton, or Hillary Clinton, or as I like to consider them, my warm-up acts. And you know, as Tom mentioned, I am a very new senator. And in fact, my very first time in Washington, my first visit ever to Washington was at the invitation of Bill Clinton when he was president. I was the county attorney, had a job like Ruth Harkins, and I was invited to introduce him for some crime legislation. And I still remember the moment standing outside of the East Room at the White House. I've got Bill Clinton on one side, right? Janet Reno on the other. There's a huge crowd in there, and this military band starts playing Hail to the Chief. And I just start walking, and all of a sudden I feel this big hand on my shoulder, and this voice says, I know you're gonna do great out there, but when they play that song, I usually go first. True story. It could only go up from there. You know, the other thing I know, it's not just famous Democrats that have been visiting your state. I heard actually that back in December, Sarah Palin was here promoting her book. Now, I will tell you that some people claim that my northern Fargo type accent is a little like Sarah Palin's. I mean, we do have something in common, right? We both come from states that are states of snowmobiling and ice fishing, but there is one big difference. When she gives a speech, she gets hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'm here for a free lunch. Now, speaking of Sarah Palin, as Tom mentioned, I am brand new, and when I got to the Senate, I thought, oh, I want to get on all these committees, you know, the Finance Committee, and somehow I got assigned to the Subcommittee on Oceans, right? I'm from Minnesota, okay? And I looked around, I see Trent Lott, and I see Olympia Snow, and John Kerry. I was the only one on the subcommittee without an ocean, and I finally figured out why Harry Reid put me on that subcommittee. Because I can see Lake Superior from my porch. So it is truly great to be here. And I first wanted to acknowledge the amazing team that you have here in Iowa. Your party chair, Sue Dvorsky. I also want to acknowledge Michael Kiernan for the great work that he has done for your party. Governor Chet Culver, your congressional delegation, Congressman Braley and Congressman Boswell, Congressman Loebsack, and your amazing Senate candidate, the next senator from the state of Iowa, Roxanne Conlon. And I did want to say a few words about Tom Harkin. Now, he mentioned that we share not only a common border, but also Slovenian roots. I'm proud to serve on the Agriculture Committee with Tom. He did just an amazing job getting that farm bill passed. But the thing for me that tells it all about Tom is that Paul Wellstone, who we miss every single day in our state, Paul Wellstone considered Tom his best friend in the Senate. In the Senate today, there is no greater advocate for the rights of the disabled than your Senator Tom Harkin. There is no stronger champion for rural America and family farmers than your Senator Tom Harkin. And this year, Tom took the torch handed to him by Ted Kennedy. He didn't ask for that torch. We all miss Ted so much. But Tom took that torch and he ran with it up the highest hill, down the lowest valley, and we passed health care reform. He was there every step of the way, and it would not have happened without Tom Harkin. So you should be proud of Tom, Iowa, and thank you for sharing him with the rest of the country. Now, when you think about it, our states, Minnesota and Iowa, really have a lot in common. They both have rolling green farmland, clean rivers and lakes, blue skies, or as Dick Cheney calls it, the 2 states that got away. But here's what else we have in common. You're home to Albert, the world's largest bull. Oh, are you from the town that has Albert? Okay, great. Right in front. You are home to Albert, the world's largest bull, and we have Babe the Blue Ox. You gave the world late-night comedian and Tonight Show host Johnny Carson, and we gave the world late-night comedian and now the great Senator Al Franken. Iowa is home to the world-famous sisters and advice columnists Dear Abby and Ann Landers, and Minnesota is home to the renowned filmmakers, the Coen brothers. And speaking of culture, I learned this from actually Christy Vilsack this week when I saw her at an event. You guys have the world-famous Matchstick Museum, and we have the world-famous Spam Museum. You are the state that makes or breaks presidents, right? And to invoke the wonderful names of Hubert Humphrey and Walter Mondale, we are the state that makes vice presidents who run for president. We both have independent voters with a strong independent streak, and if you don't believe me about Minnesota's sense of independence, I have 3 words for you: Governor Jesse Ventura. Iowa and your leaders have never backed down from a challenge. You have never accepted the status quo as being good enough. You've worked hard, you've moved forward, and you've made the world a better place for Iowans and for the entire country. Today, we need that Iowa work ethic and vision for the future as much as ever, because even with all of our great strength, we are facing major challenges. In these difficult times, I'm reminded of something Abraham Lincoln once said. He said, "When the occasion is piled high with difficulties, we must think anew and act anew." This is exactly the time to think anew and act anew.